Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Rimsha, and today I'm gonna do synopsis of the play Long Day's Journey into Night by Eugene O'Neill. First of all, I'm going to give you the introduction of the play. Long Day's Journey into Night by Eugene O'Neill is a tragic play because the story of the play depicts a terrible day in the lives of Tyrone family, and this is a broken family facing multiple issues such as disease, drug addiction, alcoholism, and guilt. It consists of 4 acts and it was written by Eugene O'Neill in 1941 or 42 and it was first published in 1956. We can say that the play is semi-autobiographical because it resembles O'Neill's life in many aspects. And if we talk about the setting of the play, the setting of the story is 1912 and the wealthy Tyrone family is staying in their summer home and all the action takes place in the living room, and the story represents one day in the lives of the family. So we can say that the setting of the story is the home of Tyrone Monte Cristo cottage, and it takes place on the single day in August 1912 from around 8:30 a.m. to midnight. There are 5 major characters in this play, such as Mary Tyrone, James Tyrone, Jimmy Tyrone, Edmund Tyrone, and Kathleen. Mary Tyrone is the wife of Tyrone and mother of Jimmy and Edmund. She is suffering from the addiction of morphine. Although she loves her husband, but often she regrets marrying him because of the dreams she had to sacrifice of becoming a nun or a concert pianist. She recalls moments of her life in the past to escape from her reality. The James Tyrone is the husband of Mary and the father of Jimmy and Edmund. He was once a famous actor who toured the US with his wife, but he is also a cheap and alcoholic man. The third one is the older son Jimmy Tyrone, an alcoholic idle man who loves and envies his brother and is blamed by his mother for the death of his younger brother. He is in his early 30s, failed actor who spent the majority of his time drinking and living a raucous lifestyle. The fourth one is Edmund Tyrone, an aspiring writer who tries to commit suicide, and he is younger son of Tyrone and he is 10 years younger than Jimmy, an intellectual romantic dreamer suffering from tuberculosis, and like his brother and father he is also partial alcoholic. He has a tendency to squander money although she works harder than Jimmy. The fifth one is Kathleen, and she is the housekeeper of the Tyrone's family. When we will critically analyze the story of the play, you will be able to understand and find out these major themes such as guilt and blame, suffering, drugs and alcohol, memory and the past, lies and deceit, fate and free will, and family. We can also find out these themes as well, such as society and class, loneliness, isolation and belonging, love and forgiveness, religion, and drugs and alcohol abuse, etc. Now, I'm going to do critical discussion of the story in this play. In this play, each of the characters has his own problems. Mary and Edmund are the most devastating at the time because Mary has just spent time in sanatorium for her overuse of morphine. Since she returns to using it again, the treatment failed, and Edmund is ready to go sanatorium for tuberculosis. And if we talk about Jimmy, Jimmy has no job and is considered a failure. And if we talk about James Tyrone, the father, he drinks too much. No one in the family is willing to bring up topics that might be controversial or introduce any kind of meaningful discussion. When Jimmy tries to discuss his mother's addiction to morphine, he receives a punch in his head. Much of the dialogues in this play deals with the past, thinking about or feeling guilty about what each have done. The characters in this play are absolutely obsessed with thinking over the past or either feeling guilty about what they have done or blaming someone else for all the problems they face. Once one of the children dies at the young age, the mother becomes addicted to morphine. Everyone keeps worrying about whether they should have had another kid. Who was responsible for the baby's death? And why the mother became addicted to morphine? And generally, how they and others have failed as good mother, father, sons, or brother. In this play, another problem which doesn't add to the happiness of the family is blame game. The loss of the young child is the reason for Mary's addiction, and who is the blame for the child's death is another hot topic. In this play, the family seems to have no coping skills. Instead of treating each other with compassion, the approach is numb the pain with alcohol and drugs. And this lack of understanding and supporting among the family members leads to addiction and failure. Everyone knows what the other is doing, but no one is ready to help each other. And in this play, we can also say that the second motive that the author offers is addiction. These people have addictive personalities, and the use of drugs only masks the real problems that each member tries to handle on his own. And we can see that the two older men are addicted to alcohol, but rather than facing their own problems, they attack Mary and her problems. And at the basic level, this play is a play about people who are suffering. The characters have basically nothing to do. Problems in their life come from the lack of focus. No one works or does anything valuable. We can see the adult sons don't work. The father, James Tyrone, takes the summer off. And if we see Mary, she has never worked. Depression has sent each of them in search for something to mask the issue that need to be evaluated. They tend to sit around, argue, and suffer the pain of old wounds and dark perspective for the future. So we can say that the Tyrone family has no strong parent figure to take responsibility for the care of its member. The parents have been so busy with their own problems that the sons have been left to their own devices. Without supportive parents, the children are left to look after themselves and their parents. In this play, we can say that everyone has some major anxiety about the lost good old days and about old mistakes that still show scars. If we analyze both parents, they express real regret over choices they made in their youth. Like James Tyrone wishes he could have been a more diverse actor, and Mary seems to wish that she had never married James. And she is also absolutely haunted by the death of one of her children and clearly feels guilt over it. So, in the end, we can say that one of the basic tensions underlying in this play is the conflict between fate and free will. All the characters want to change their lives, but at the same time, they can't get this depression fatalism out of their heads. And if we analyze the character of the father, he always acts childishly, and most of the time the eldest son doesn't look up to him. And the Jimmy is the character who requires the least caretaking. But that's really because both he and his parents think he is the lost cause. The younger son, Edmund, if we talk about, he is the sickly baby of the family and clearly the parents' favorite. And if we are looking for the helpless character, we can say that the mother gives Edmund a run for the money, but she has to be scolded and protected for herself and the family angers. That's all from my side. Thank you so much.